2 weeks ago, Priti Patel approved the extradition. So now it's gone back to the lower court for them to process it. And while it's there, the defence lawyers acting for Julian have the opportunity to apply to the High Court for leave to make appeal. And so that, I think those, I can't remember how many days, I think it was 14 days they had to be able to lodge that application for leave to appeal. It's a rather odd sort of process. You have to apply for consent to then lodge an appeal. And so that's now with the High Court, who could take, you know, a couple of months to decide whether they will consider an appeal. And if they will, which by law or by logic, all the grounds that have been given for all of the abuses in the due process, that they would actually hear an appeal, in which case it would be sometime possibly the end of the year or the beginning of next year. Meanwhile, Julian remains in solitary confinement and his health is deteriorating. So it's a horrendous situation we're in, and total cruelty and abuse of every kind of human rights. Why is a harmless man, a person who's never committed any crime, why is he held in solitary confinement in Britain's harshest prison?
Julian's defence lawyers have lodged an appeal against Priti Patel's decision to extradite Julian. We'll hear in the next weeks whether or not the Supreme Court's willing to hear that appeal.
And what do you think about the toll that it's taking on him and the family?
It's heartbreaking. Truly heartbreaking. I mean, that could be our son, our brother, our father. I don't know how they cope. I really don't. It really is heartbreaking.
We've had a London bus today. It's the Free Julian Assange bus, and as you can see, journalism is not a crime. If Julian gets extradited to the US, then free press will be going down. It's very, very shocking, and it's extremely important that everybody wakes up and gets onto the fact that Julian needs them and free press needs them, and we need a free press so we can have the truth and we can hold our governments to account.
What do you think of Priti Patel's decision with regards to Julian Assange?
I think it's a very concerning and actually very horrible decision she made.
I think it's shameful. I think it's a real threat to the freedom of the press and journalism around the world. I mean, it's no good our government denouncing Russia and China and Iran and places for throwing journalists into prison and suppressing the right of the press to tell the truth when they're doing the same thing to Julian Assange. I mean, this man, all he did was to publish the truth.
It's repulsive. It's absolutely disgusting. She has every opportunity to block that appeal. She knows in all the sort of details that she gives, all the conditions that she's allowed to block the appeal. One of them is that there should be no extradition of political prisoners or for political offences. This is political. And she's agreed to send him to the country that was plotting, where the CIA were plotting to murder him when he was in the Ecuadorian embassy. That is an article that was published by Yahoo News, where 30 people within the CIA all made statements about this plan to assassinate Julian in the Ecuadorian embassy. And we're deciding to send him to that country. It's absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely shameful.
She's probably compromised. All these politicians they're all compromised. They're all horrible people. They're all backstabbers. I don't know. I mean, if she had a spine, she would, and some common sense and some empathy, she would release him. But you know, it's another world. It's another world. And I would not even step into that world for 1 second.
Julian Assange is a publisher and a journalist. He didn't commit any crimes. He is illegally imprisoned, and they should just not extradite someone who is innocent and also whose case is a political case. So by doing that, they break their own laws.
What's happened to the values of this country? It's hypocrisy. You know, Alan Bennett is on record as saying that Britain does hypocrisy better than any country in the world. and he's bang on there with this situation. But I have a niece who's studying photojournalism, and I wonder what she would do if she were to uncover a similar story. Would she dare to publish it? Would she dare to actually tell people about what she discovered, or would she worry that if she told the truth she would end up like Julian in Belmarsh? I mean, it really is, it's an issue. This sets a precedent for the whole future of worldwide journalism, and people are going to be afraid to tell the truth about what's going on in the world and all the different governments and what they're up to, and war crimes, atrocities, Guantanamo Bay. Nobody's going to want to tell the truth if they fear that they're going to end up in Belmarsh like Julian Assange. So his struggle is a struggle of everybody who thinks that democracy needs a free press, and without a free press, democracy in this country is finished.
What do you think it says about the government's attitude towards journalism?
They want everybody silenced. You know, with everything that's going on at the moment, more people are being deplatformed on YouTube, more independent journalists are being silenced. I mean, you know, RT.com, Russia Today, was a brilliant, place to find accurate news with good reporters like Chris Hedges and Jimmy Dore and Richard Medhurst, endless people, and Ashfan Ratansi, really good reporters who give an independent opinion of what is going on in the world, and they've just been totally removed. It's unbelievable.
I think this government's attitude to journalism is pretty much like its attitude to everybody else. They don't like protest, and they don't like people who disagree with them.
I'm ashamed, you know, of this. It really is a shameful episode in the history of Britain.
He wants to be outside of HMP Belmarsh, free man. He hasn't committed any crime, so he shouldn't be in prison. I've met some lovely people, all really kind, gentle people, all supporting Julian and John and Gabriel's attempt to get Julian out of HMP Belmarsh. They've been brilliant, and I think we've connected with a lot of people in London as well. We seem to have had a lot of honks on the horn and a lot of people clapping as we've gone past, so it's really heartening to see people are waking up to the truth.